Ori, America, bonjour, hi, Canada. Greeting to my 400 affiliates spread across the United States, Canada, and everyone listening abroad or listening on the podcast tape delay. I'm Hugh Hewitt. Browns is the Browns. Yes, it's a very serious day. I'm going to discuss whether or not the President of the United States ought to be impeached. I do not believe it is a good idea. I think it's a terrible idea, in fact. But I want to hear what you think. You center-right conservatives and center-left liberals. 1-800-520-1234. I'll talk a little bit about the Browns while you're dialing up Harley and speaking with him. We remain shorthanded with half the team out with COVID, but we're here for you, and we believe that it's an important question to ask, and I'm going to give you the numbers for Congress, which is 202-224-3121, 202-224-3121. Ask for your representative. They have the first decision to make, and it's a terribly important one for the consequence of the president. I do not believe constitutionally you can convict a president after he has left office, and even though the House might impeach him this week, it would be a terrible scar on future presidents, a rushed impeachment. The first impeachment was a charade. It got our eye off the ball of the flu that was developing, the Wuhan virus that was developing in China. I was talking about it every day on the air, and they were doing the Adam Schiff silly dance over in the House. And now, because of the president's recklessness on Wednesday, and it was very reckless, they want to impeach him again without a process, with no due process. Fundamental to the United States, due process, guaranteed by the Fifth Amendment, by the 14th Amendment. And yes, even in impeachment proceedings, due process is owed to the president. And this would be a farce. But vengeful, hard left Democrats want it. And I want to know if you want it. 1-800-520-1234. I'll tell you that the newspapers are full of it. The Washington Post. Pelosi moves ahead with efforts for Trump's removal as Democrats split on how hard to push for impeachment. From the New York Times, House moves to force Trump out, vowing impeachment if Pence won't act. The Wall Street Journal, House to move to impeach Trump after push to have Pence remove him from office. And then from the Financial Times, U.S. Senators balk at Trump impeachment over Capitol siege. Many reporters saying there are 3 Republicans who will vote to convict the president this time, not just one. Mitt Romney, they say Lisa Murkowski and Pat Toomey would. I don't know that Governor Romney would. He's a constitutionalist, as I am. And the Constitution clearly does not contemplate removing someone from an office that they are no longer occupying, and the president will not occupy the office on January 10. Let me tell you what I'm not asking for. I'm not asking for you to call up with harebrained ideas on how the vote was stolen. It wasn't. I've told you that for 3 months. 60 lawsuits were brought. Not one succeeded. The president lost. He lost narrowly. He lost by 42,000 votes in 3 states. Bad campaign advice, terrible polling, and a plethora of other issues. But it was not stolen from him. And in particular, the rioters who attempted to bring the United States government to its knees and perhaps do harm to members of the United States Congress, and who ended up killing a policeman, 4 other people dying, are not conservatives, are not Republicans. They are armed insurrectionists, and they were armed. And many of them have been arrested, and that is a good thing. But I don't want to hear your theories on why I'm wrong about that. I've heard them for months. You haven't persuaded me, and hopefully you've now persuaded yourself at least, of the danger of fueling such nuttiness. Lynn Wood, I hope you're listening. The fact is that the president lost. And the fact is he gave a wildly reckless speech, unaware, perhaps. That's what an evidentiary trial would hear, if there was going to be such a thing, of the outer fringe of his movement and what they had come for. There's a lot to dig into. There's questions on why the D.C. Capitol Police were not ready, and why the D.C. Police, separate from the Capitol Police, were not ready, why the mayor of D.C. turned down additional help, why the Pentagon appears to have refused the National Guard. There's a lot to investigate, all of which goes to whether or not the president ought to be impeached. There's no time for that. So I think you ought to call Congress with what you think, 202-224-3121. Now, before I go there, though, I have waited 27 years to say the Browns have won a playoff game. The last time the Browns won and this is for all my fam in northeastern Ohio. We are family, despite agreements and disagreements, united in love of the Browns, the Indians, the Cavaliers, and the Ohio State Buckeyes. That goes beyond northeastern Ohio. We are long-suffering Browns fans. We are tormented for decades at the hands of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And even we were ahead 24-0 in last night's game, we worried. In fact, we worried when the margin dropped to 12 points, but then Baker took it in hand, drove the team down the field and scored. I'm working on 3 hours sleep because, who goes to sleep after that? I had to read everything twice, and the comment boards, and text everybody I know. I got 1,000. Fans congratulate each other, and other sports fans knows what it's like to be a Browns fan. Got my Browns gear on this morning, and I will. And the voice will be back by tomorrow. But I'll tell you, he's a great quarterback. He's going to be the quarterback of the Browns for years. Kevin Stefanski, who was not there, planned out a great opening series. Alex Van Pelt, AVP they call him. Great work. Great work by Joe Wood, the defensive coordinator, though I hate that prevent defense. I just hate it. Big Ben was quick. Didn't sack him. Baker Mayfield wasn't sacked. 4 interceptions by Big Ben. It was a great game for a Browns fan. Now it's on to Kansas City, and we're going to beat the Chiefs, too. This is a blessed team. And we're actually going to have a team. Remember, no starting quarterbacks, neither Kevin Johnson nor Denzel Ward. No all-pro left guard in Joel Bitonio. No right guard right tackle when Big Jake Conklin went down. And then on the left guard spot, the substitute went down, and they had to bring in a guy who joined the Browns this week from the New York Jets practice squad. Baker had to introduce himself in the locker room yesterday. And the fellow did a good job. I can't remember his name, but he's going to get a Super Bowl ring. It was a remarkable game. And now we have Ohio State tonight. We have the Buckeyes going to crush the Crimson Tide. Now, I have a friend named Tom Tradup who is unfortunately simply not literate when it comes to sports. And he thinks Bama, the sun rises on the east side of Alabama and sets on the west side of Alabama. And there are many people with Bama brains, and they're going to be in for a rude awakening tonight. But thus far, 2 weeks ago, I said 7 to go. I meant the Browns had to win 5 in a row, and the Ohio State Buckeyes had to win 2. We have 3 down, 4 to go. And it's a wonderful, wonderful feeling. Congratulations to Baker Mayfield and Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, to Jarvis Landry, who I think is the best possession receiver in the game, to the tight ends, to J.C. Treader, who's the smartest guy I've heard talk about the virus from the player's perspective, to Myles Garrett. We were down Olivier Vernon, too. It was a nightmare for the Browns. No one gave him a chance. And they won. Go Browns. What a morning in Cleveland. What a morning in northeastern Ohio. What a morning in Akron, in Youngstown, in Hubbard, in Salem, in Rocky River. You go out as far as you can. It's Brownstown time. There are even a few dowdy people in Pennsylvania who know that the Browns are the best. And finally, 27 years later, I talked to both sons last night. One is abroad, and they both called during and after the game. They were afraid that the lead would join the fumble and the drive in Browns' horrible history. But no, it was the blowout in Pittsburgh, the first quarter from heaven, and the Browns are happy. Your phone call's coming up. Should the president be impeached? 1-800-520